Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rock and Roll Spot coming at you. Today I'm going to talk about a couple of separate yet to a degree related, or separate yet, I want to say, separate but separate but related movie franchises that are potentially going to go through at least somewhat of a change. I was speaking, of course, about the Alien and Predator franchises. Basically, the big thing for them is that it's quite possible that they will be changing the rights is that franchise will be changing hands somewhat soon. Last year, Disney basically bought the entertainment portion of Fox, getting 20th Century Fox, FX, Fox Television Network, which includes the Alien and Predator franchises. Now, the deal has not been finalized. Probably won't be finalized until summer of next year. So it's probably going to be a while before we get a definitive. In fact, there's, as I recall, a Predator movie scheduled to come out before the deal will be finalized. So that's probably going to happen anyway, regardless. We'll see how the Predator is when it drops. Let's see what IMDb has to say on that, because I have no clue when that's dropping. Let's see. Yeah, 2018. Let's see. Do we have a release date? September 14th. Okay, so September 14th. Wow. That's 5 months away. Okay. I'm going to at least try to have a review for that one, because I'm actually quite curious as to how it's going to look. I also might look into some of the behind the scenes stuff before the movie comes out, and might get into some of that beforehand. Kind of okay, here's what's gone down. Maybe we can have some idea of what we're walking into, right? Anyway, so some possibilities for various aspects of the two franchises. When it comes to the movies, Alien Prometheus, there's a possibility, due to fan backlash at the last two Alien movies, that Disney might try to basically buy out Ridley Scott, or basically say, hey, look, here's some money, leave this franchise alone. We'll get other people to handle it from here on out. Here's something you might be interested in, though. And I'll hand him off something else. He's not a bad director, just I enjoyed Prometheus. I, to a degree, enjoyed Alien Covenant. I might do a video on Alien Covenant later on, a very late post-mortem, but they could have been better. Also, I don't know. Neither one was truly what I wanted. I'll be honest. In fact, Alien Covenant was more along the lines of what I wanted from Prometheus, and there are still a lot of things that just don't click with previous films, including the one that Ridley Scott made. But again, it might be, if necessary, kind of thing. They may just say, "Hey, look, Ridley, we're the bosses now, and we got some thoughts. Here's what we want to do. We would like to do with the franchise, and hey, we're just gonna just look over them. Yeah, okay, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, yeah. That sounds fine. I think we can work with that. He may be totally willing to play ball. We'll just have to see. Um, I also imagine that Disney would probably want the focus shifted more back at least villain wise. Villain. I'm loath to really describe the aliens as villains because they're not they're not they're antagonists, yes, by virtue of being there. But they have no malicious intent. Um, yes, when their intent is largely to reproduce, and that means killing. But it's not like they want to say, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna kill this thing." It's like, no, we're gonna reproduce through this thing. So I don't really think of them as the villains of the series. The company, that's a villain. But we can talk about the company at some other juncture in a video that talks about the alien universe. But I imagine that Disney would want to shift focus more back to the xenomorphs as the antagonists, the primary antagonists. Also, they possibly, with having both and seeing that there is a degree of popularity when it comes to the concept, possibly try and reconnect the Alien franchise to the Predator franchise. Kind of a basically, like as I said, separate but linked. Anyways, also, I mean, hell, another thing they might do, just because, I mean, a lot of fans do want it, is find a way to bring back Ripley. Hell, I would not entirely be surprised if it came down to buying out Ridley Scott and then turning around to Neil Blomkamp saying, "Hey, you've got an idea. We have some idea. If you're willing to play ball with us, we will make sure that your idea comes to fruition." We'll see. We'll see. Now, for Predator, probably not with the Predator, as that's coming out a bit too soon. That's pretty much done. They're just really having to finish up and do. It's probably in post production at the moment. But with the Predator franchise, what I imagine Disney would probably do is one, try to make the Yautja more closer to being an anti-hero. Yes, there'll still be some antagonistic. It'll still be used antagonistically, but you'll probably see it drifting closer to being, like I said, more anti-hero. Like if you were to set one in a modern day or slightly futuristic city, they would probably, they'd probably be killing criminals. Kind of similar to the beginning of Predator 2. In a setting like that, you'd probably have them killing criminals. Or in another jungle setting, they'd probably be killing people that we see that are utilized normally as villains anyway. So it's like, okay, we don't mind so much. It's like, oh no, they're killing bad-ish guys. I mean, he can't be all that bad. But still, there'd be the fight with the hero because. But anyway, I imagine possibly also moving the setting into further into the future, probably just to again link with, from my next point, reconnect to the Alien franchise. I think that's really one thing that kind of hurt the Alien vs. Predator movies in the first place was the modern day setting and poor poor utilization of the modern day setting, as well as um, well, various other things I brought up on in a past video. But the modern day setting was poorly utilized. It can work. I don't see AVP, Alien versus Predator, working in a modern day setting. Predator, sure, but AVP I don't see working just because, sure, a lot of it gets kept quiet, but yeah, it's the kind of thing that stories get around. Anyway, so what I would probably be seeing for both franchises movie wise is a build towards the occasional crossover movie. And I'm not saying they'd crank out an Alien or Predator movie every year. More like, I would maybe even, every other year. Give us some time, or hell, they may come up with ways to work on elements of the franchises so that they can do, a few a year, one for each franchise per year, and then do that for a couple of years and build to an AVP movie. Who knows? We'll see what happens. It could be interesting. It could be really bad. I'd hope that they get someone who has a good idea of where to take the franchises in charge in charge of them, basically. Kind of like Kevin Feige with Marvel Studios. Now for basically the merchandise side. When it comes to comic books, you're probably looking at transferring the rights for both to Marvel, as they did with Star Wars. Of course, in the case of Star Wars, transfer it back to Marvel, but that's besides the point. And what we might see with that is also Marvel basically republishing all the Dark Horse collected editions, just to as they're doing that with Star Wars as well. So that way they can utilize, or they can put that out there, and it can still be in circulation. You might also see various alternate universe crossover comics against Marvel characters. Think like Predator versus Wolverine. I don't know. Aliens versus the Marvel Universe. That actually kind of cool to read. Possibly, and we possibly also see a new mass market toy line, which we haven't seen. I know for Aliens, there was a mass market toy line about 25 years ago. 6 years or so after the movie came out, Kenner said, "Hey, we'll make toys up from this R-rated movie that's more than 5 years old, because that totally works." It kind of did, actually, except for the fact that the second line never made it to the States. But they had to make a few changes because, well, you can either A, say, yes, here are action figures of characters who died in the movie, or B, just go, oh, these characters, they didn't die, they were injured, but they're all better now. They're better. And they did have some really, I think what really made the Kenner toy line neat was the aliens that it featured. You had like a snake alien, bull alien, which that's not too bad. The snake alien seems kind of odd, but the bull alien seems fairly normal. Let's see what else. There's scorpion alien, which was really just designed based off. It looked to be more just the based on the xenomorph as it appeared in Aliens. The got kind of a kind of goldish brown tint on paint instead of blue, bluish black. Let's see, what else was there? I didn't actually. I think the only alien I had was the Scorpion. And it came to the figures, I had Drake and I had Ripley, or the Marines. They made a vehicle for the power loader, and it either came with a Ripley of its own, or you could put the Ripley figure. I think it had a Ripley of its own, though. There was also a Hicks figure, Apone, and Bishop. There was a Hive playset. There was the Flying Queen figure, which it was okay. It was kind of that was like the only figure that actually really utilized the inner jaw concept. To recall, the Hive actually had a more accurate looking queen. I'm not sure. I know there have been Predator toy lines, but I think they were what's the word I'm looking for? Not mass market, but not secondary, but they were aimed more at collectors. Let's see right quick. We'll Wikipedia this instead. Come on. How is there not a... Oh, okay, there we go. Home franchise. There we are. Games. Surprisingly, nothing about Toyline, which makes me think I may just have to Google it. There have been, I know there have been figures for but I think what it was is there may have been a brief point where there was a point, I think, where possibly McFarlane Toys might, yeah, they did. That's kind of close to being mass market, but it's in them not. They also did they did a Hicks figure based on the movie, as opposed to NECA redoing the action figures, basically, or the old action figures, which is really kind of cool. Holy crap, that's pretty awesome. I know NECA has been doing a lot of these. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure there hasn't been a truly mass market Predator toy line. So, yeah, that would be kind of cool, though. I figure maybe something like you do like, with Predator, you do like a Build-A-Figure kind of thing. Have Hasbro make them, do like a Build-A-Figure, and like it's Dutch's squad from the first movie, and you're building and each one comes with a piece of the Predator. Then there's like a Predator 2 line. You'd have like Hartigan. You'd have a handful. You have some of the major characters, and again, you would build that Predator. Only this time, because it's different Predator, it would have different accessories. Like had the combi stick and had the disc. Well, the initial version of the disc. You just have AVP, and hell, with Alien, again, have like a line based on the first movie where you bought once you bought each figure. Oh, hey, look, boom, got the Xenomorph. Then maybe like a secondary line with like versions of Dallas, Kane, Ripley, and Lambert in their spacesuits. That would really pretty much be it from the first movie, wouldn't it? But of course, Ripley would have to come with Jonesy. You can't not have Jonesy in this. With Aliens, there's as much as I want to say, oh yeah, you can totally do a Build-A-Figure of the Queen. No, that's just gonna be too freaking big. But at the same time, I want to have, aliens to go to, represent the movie as opposed to just an alien. I think the shitty part is that the two things I would love to see as toys for at least three-quarter inch scale line we'll probably never get, which would be the dropship and the APC from Aliens. Anyways, we got off topic here. So, anyways, it's whether or not this would the acquisition of Fox by Disney turns out to be a good thing. We'll only be able to tell for these two franchises. We'll only be able to tell after in time. Hopefully it is. I'd love to be able to look back 10 years from now and say, man, that video is kind of was a little close. Maybe not the best idea in the world, maybe not the worst, but it was. I was afraid of nothing. Hopefully that's the case. My fears are for naught. I think my biggest fear is the idea of oversaturation. Not like they've been doing that with another franchise, but this is part of. I think you know what? My fears overall for this, we'll get to another time. Anyways, this is Rock and Roll Spock signing off. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, so you can be notified when I'm going live, or just when I post a video in general. If you want to, feel free to donate to my Patreon. And that's all. That's it for me today. So live long and rock hard.